because it's still only 1 hour and 3/4 approximately since we left the hotel. And we'll soon be leaving island number 2. Yes, Fuerteventura. The second island in the stream, the second largest of the Canaries. And we're also leaving these 2 easterly islands. You know, Lanzarote, Fuerteventura, the oldest islands of the entire Canarian archipelago, the most easterly, are the driest of the islands. And once we arrive in Gran Canaria, we'll be starting to experience something very different. You know, Fuerteventura, for its size, is has a relatively small population. You know, 100 odd thousand people. There was Lanzarote with 140 odd thousand people, and we're now going to make our way across to Gran Canaria, the Great Canary Islands, island number 3 and the 3rd biggest, but with a population of over 800,000. So we're leaving this relatively small port of Morro on this desert island, and we'll be arriving at approximately 6:30 in the great port of Las Palmas. And so we'll be in the big city. In fact, it'll be the first city we visit on this tour. So something very different. We'll be back in civilization, you can put it that way. So remember, the ferry departs at 4:30. We'll see what time they're going to let us embark. Probably it will be 4 o'clock. So we've got 3/4 of an hour to wait, sort out the luggage. At least if we're first on board, then we'll be able to take our pick of the seats. And you know, of course, you can buy teas, coffees and snacks on the ferry. Yes. We've come from the desert to the big city, and you've already been able to get an idea of how big it is by the length of time it took us sailing into the port. Did you notice? Huge, huge port. Anyway, and here to meet us was Paco. Paco is our driver for this transfer down to the south of the island, to the resort of Playa del Ingles, which means the beach of the Englishman. Yes, and to the hotel Rio Palmeiras. Can you all hear me? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Paco. Well, we did all that we could, you know, to get as close as possible to the luggage, and well, yeah, the luggage loading and unloading was not what I was expecting, and not as it has been on previous occasions, and I'm sorry that we had problems there. But thank you, all those people who, you know, sort of helped. All of you, I really, I'm very grateful. I wouldn't have wanted it that way. I really didn't want you to do all that hard lifting and luggage handling. This is not what you're here for. I didn't want it, but what can I say? You know, you were very, very kind and helpful, and thank you. So Paco was parked as near as he could get, and then we drove round the other side to see if we could get a little closer, but in the end we just came back to the original position, and once the other coach had disappeared, then we were able to manage it. So here we all are. We're on board our transfer coach to the south, the Sur, as it says on the sign above the motorway there, S-U-R, the south. Okay, so what a contrast with Fuerteventura. Gran Canaria is number 3 island, the 3rd island in the stream, and the 3rd largest of the Canary Islands. So number 3. And this island accounts for nearly half, well, not quite half, nearly half of the entire Canarian population, the entire population of the archipelago. 800,000 people live on this island, and nearly half of those are resident in this capital city. So just under 400,000 people live here in Las Palmas, which is the 7th or 8th largest city in Spain, in the whole of Spain. Yeah, so it's counted among the country's largest and most important cities. And the ports, which of course we've seen from the ferry, is massive. You know, this is a really big deal here. It deals with industrial shipping, commercial shipping, cruise liners. The largest cruise boats sail into Las Palmas, and then there's the pleasure craft, the yachts, and 1 or 2 quite big yachting competitions, you know, start here in Las Palmas. I know there's one that an annual sailing competition which starts here and ends in the Caribbean. So yeah, this is a great maritime city. Francis Drake came here and sacked the place in 1595. You know, he was one of those terrible British pirates who plundered and looted here, there and everywhere. And yeah, so Francis Drake was here. This city is also the capital of the province of Las Palmas de Gran Canaria. It's the province which comprises this island, Lanzarote and Fuerteventura, the three eastern islands are controlled from here. Capital of the province. That is since 1927, because before then Santa Cruz de Tenerife was capital of all the Canaries. You know, which the Gran Canarians were not too happy about. Then in 1927, the archipelago was divided into two provinces. So Las Palmas de Gran Canaria got back some of its power. This city is located in the northeast corner of the island, and we're now making our way onto the, you know, we're driving on the main road, the main artery out of the city to the south. We're taking the East Coast motorway right the way down to the resort area which we're making for. So it runs down the East Coast. And you'll see it gets quite dry and barren. You know, you'll recognise some of the landscapes from the two previous islands. But Gran Canaria is like a continent in miniature, and the mountainous interior has the effect of creating two sort of geographical areas and climatic zones. So the southern and eastern coasts of the island are quite gently sloping, and the landscape is quite dry and barren, whereas the northern part of the island is quite humid and fertile. Humid and fertile enough to grow bananas. Those bananas we've seen on the, well, we certainly saw them on the breakfast buffet in Lanzarote at the Costa Calero. Those small bananas grown here in Gran Canaria and in Tenerife and in La Palma. So the west coast of this island is steep and rocky and rugged, and there's very high cliffs and no motorway to speak of, just a road that twists up and down and round the coast. So you know, that's why the journeys we'll be making between the north and the south will always be done on this motorway, because the west coast road is just too winding, too difficult, and it takes a very, very long time. It's something that you would, if you wanted to explore that west coast, probably the best way to do it would be in a hire car. So we've just sailed into the port of Las Palmas, but on Monday we'll be sailing out of the port of Agayete, which is over on the west coast. And to get there
we'll be doing this motorway route, and then we'll be driving along the North Coast Road and round the northwest corner just down to the port of Agayete. So the interior of the island is mountainous, not as mountainous as Tenerife. I mean, because Tenerife is capped by Mount Teide, which is 12,198 feet, 3,717 meters, whereas this island, the highest point is about half that. So we'll have an opportunity to see some of this dramatic landscape of the interior on that optional excursion, the Cruz de Tejeda, which will be on Sunday. We have a chance to do that. So I know that most of you have booked that excursion with me already. If you haven't already done so and you'd like to go, just let me know. And I thoroughly recommend it if you really want to see the best of this island. Do that Cruz de Tejeda excursion, because it will take us from the arid south up through one of the ravines, the Barranco de Pataga, and we'll climb higher and higher up into the hills. We'll see some beautiful villages. We'll come up into the pine forest, and then maybe we'll get some wonderful views, possibly even across to Tenerife. You know, sometimes you can see the peak of Teide rising up there across the ocean. So we'll also have lunch in a village restaurant. We'll have something typically Canarian, and then we'll visit probably the most colourful village on the whole island there. Now, just to talk a bit about the Rio Palmeiras Hotel. When we get there, Paco will unload the luggage, and the porters will be there to take in the suitcases and label them. They'll probably put a sticker on your suitcase, and then they'll mark your room number on the sticker, and then they'll be delivered as quickly as possible to your rooms. You need passports for checking in, and we'll have a drink on arrival, and hopefully it'll be quite quick, because we have to have dinner at 8 o'clock. In this hotel, they operate by sittings. It's not sort of come in at any time and, free and easy. They actually have 2 sittings for dinner, 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. Now, we are all, in principle, booked in on the 2nd sitting at 8 o'clock. Now, if any of you really do prefer to eat at 6 o'clock in the evening, then it's possible to arrange this, and you should speak to the head waiter, the maitre d', who will be at the entrance of the restaurant to welcome us. So if you really do particularly want to eat at 6 o'clock in the evening, then speak to the head waiter, and I'm sure this can be arranged. But we are, in principle, booked on the 2nd sitting. So it's buffet self-service, usual system, breakfast and dinner. And regarding the a la carte option, we all have the right to eat in the a la carte restaurant once during our stay. And for us it will be tomorrow. And I've spoken to the head waiter on the phone and asked him to reserve places for us as a group. Now, hotel, which is immediately ahead on the right. So enjoy your holiday in Gran Canaria, everyone. Thanks to Paco. Thank you, gracias Paco. And welcome to the Rio Palmeiras.